Monday. It's Scotty, that's Motty. And if you're watching this, it's because you're bloody lovely and you have amazing taste in YouTube videos. So before we get started, make sure you're clicking subscribe if you don't already. 9,700 are doing so far. Join them, get us up to 10,000. He'll smile more. Everybody wins. If you can guess, we are feeling very cheery today. 2-1 win away at Bramall Lane. Saturday night, I expected us to lose.
Not like you. Predicting a United loss. What's up with you?
I'm just going off form. I can only see what I see.
Form goes out the window when you're playing Sheffield United.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
2 words. Brentford. Yeah.
Right.
We beat them.
Yeah.
We were losing going into extra time, injury time, Fergie time, whatever you want to call it. And we won.
Yes, we did.
Our second top goal scorer. Scott McTominay.
A lad who was leaving for other pastures in the summer.
Grass isn't always greener, and he knew. Stay at United, banging the goals. 21 is coming.
Speaking of which, Maguire.
Yeah.
Can we give him credit where it's due? I lambast Maguire every given chance when he. That's the word, isn't it?
Yeah.
When he cocks up, which there's not been far few between when he does make errors, but he's come back. Not done a Jadon Sancho and thought I'm staying in bed.
No.
It's like, no, I'm going to earn my crust.
Yeah, he's saying, listen, you might be moaning because I'm in the England team. You might not think I'm good enough, but I'm going to show you lot. First of all, with an assist against Brentford.
Yeah, man.
Yeah. Then with a Player of the Match award to add to the one he got against Germany in the Euros. Yeah. He knows when it matters.
Yeah.
Yeah. Your Germanys, your Sheffield Uniteds, he steps up.
Big man.
He's a big man.
So bad.
Yeah.
Are we allowed to say that anymore?
I don't know. I always feel a bit bad for him. Do you know what I mean?
Not because of his head?
Slab head and the fridge and all that.
But the top head was a compliment, wasn't it? Because he was getting his head and everything. Wasn't that a compliment?
Okay.
People make reference to your head all the time.
Yeah, but I like that. I know I like that. I like the fact people say I've got a bald head.
Because you have got a bald head.
Someone insulted me the other day on Twitter calling me a Malteser. But they were being horrible. It wasn't affectionate.
Right.
It was a Liverpool fan saying you Malteser head.
It's not really circular though, is it?
No, it's a bit more oval.
It's
more like
a tanned egg.
Yeah, that's it, exactly. So, like a Cadbury's cream egg.
There we go, that's a better one.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, get the chocolates right, Scouser.
Yeah, loser. But I mean, slabhead's not the worst thing, is it? You can be called?
No, not at all.
I've not heard subhead though. Have you just made that one up?
No.
Subhead.
But we were in... We actually did a live thing in Newcastle, of all places, when England beat Panama, was it? 6-1?
The mighty Panama.
And we were going around interviewing all the locals in his fan park. And then someone went, yeah, Tubhead's going to score.
Tubhead's going to score. There you go. There's a chant. So, yeah, it's good to see the sort of the fringe players, the ones that get a lot of stick, stepping up, getting their flowers. Because somebody's had his fair amount of grief, and I'm not saying he's been amazing for United. I don't think he actually played that well against Sheffield United, if I'm being brutally honest. But he took his goal very well. And Maguire, who's had more stick than any United player recently, I think he's had untold stick.
Yeah.
He's stepped up as well, and he's done the job that he's paid to do. So you can't fault that. And I think you've got to give him credit where credit's due. UK Strain says RIP Sir Bobby Charlton. Yes, well said. Obviously, we've both said this many times since tragic news broke on Saturday afternoon, but we've not said it on this channel yet. Thoughts with his family. For me, the greatest United player ever. I'm not just saying that because he's passed away. I think you look at his record, World Cup winner, European Cup winner, survived Munich and then helped carry the team forward after that, which you can only imagine what that's like.
Yeah.
I think he's our greatest ever player. And I think there's a reason he's got a stand named after him.
Yeah, certainly. I was doing a special tribute on Saturday night on the radio, and I was just going through his life story, and it's a Hollywood script.
You couldn't, if you wrote that script, people would go, that's far-fetched, isn't it?
It's like Rocky. It's like extreme Rocky, really, isn't it? The tragedy that he's come back from to sort of reach the heights that he did. And I don't think Manchester United would be the club that they are. Matt Busby built the team that followed the Busby Babes around Bobby Charlton.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? So if Bobby Charlton didn't play for Manchester United, I don't think we would be anywhere near where we are, especially today, talking about a title charge that's still on.
You say that, 21 is coming, title charge is still on. I don't know what people are thinking. They're thinking, Jay, you're back on it. Yeah, and you've dragged Scotty along for the ride.
I'll follow you to the ends of the earth, my son.
Good lad. That might be where we're going.
Yeah.
Let's qualify this, because all right, maybe there is a little bit of tongue-in-cheekness about it, but United haven't been great this season, right? We can be honest about that.
We've been shit.
Okay, we've been shit. Yeah, that's fair. We're currently 8th. Yeah.
Yes.
which again isn't great.
It's less
I'm not
shit.
gonna lie, it's less shit. There's 9 games played. We're in 8th. Yeah. City are top. Yeah. If we beat them,
When we beat them, Jay.
when we beat them on Sunday,
when we beat them on Sunday,
we'll be 3 points behind them.
yeah,
That's
insane.
Like,
It really is.
to think that, because they're obviously top of the league, treble winners, albeit with 115 charges hanging over them. Everyone raves about them, how good they are. I know they've not had the perfect start to the season, but it's like City are the sort of the benchmark for everyone.
Yeah.
They're the team that you want to beat. They're the team that everyone looks to and aspires to be like. If I could go full David Moyes. United, it's like disgusting, disgrace, get rid of Ten Hag, pathetic. And yet, we're 1 win away from being 3 points behind them, which ain't too shabby.
No, I think we could benefit from how competitive I think the title charge will be this season.
Do you reckon?
I don't think anyone's going to run away with it. I know Arsenal were dominant last season and then fell apart at the end, but I think it'd be more than a 2-horse race, and I think you're going to find more teams taking points off the likes of City and Arsenal than you expect. Especially, I mean, Arsenal were looking to get back in the game against Chelsea at the weekend. I mean, you'd expect Arsenal of old to just lie down and die, wouldn't you, if they're 2-0 down. But Chelsea looked decent under Pochettino as well, and you obviously got Spurs doing bits. So United, I think, I hope, I pray, will sort of creep in the background, just taking these little points against these giants like Brentford and Sheffield United, and they accumulate, they all stack up. Mathematically, 9 games in, and then from Sunday 10 games, we would be like 3 points off Manchester City, who are the favourites for the league. So therefore, Manchester United are still in the title race. We're playing Copenhagen tomorrow. We are definitely still in the Champions League. And if we don't win, if we get knocked out of that, we've still got the Europa League.
If we finish 3rd in our group, or whatever it is.
Always.
How do you finish? How do you even get into the Europa League now? Is it
Tombola?
Is it tombola? Yeah. Is it you finish 3rd or you get through to last 16 and then get knocked out there?
Something like that.
Something like that, and it's the last 16,
Change
I think.
the rules all the time. And then they're having that sort of make-believe middle round that they gave us last year.
Yeah, when we shouldn't have even been in there
Barcelona.
because Sociedad
United aren't playing enough games this season. We'll just give them another one against.
Yeah, we'll just make up a new rule,
Nice one,
like
cheers,
ignoring the penalty that they got against that was given against us was the Sociedad game as well, which was a joke. Loads of people in the comments and the chats. Roy Thompson says Rashford and Højlund need to start scoring soon. Højlund's been scoring in the Champions League, to be fair, but I get what you mean about the Premier League. He's not scored there yet. I think it'll come though. Fiberman says, if we're winning the title, then I'm fighting the alphabet. I look forward to that viral video of you doing it. Iraq Football Podcast says, Jay, whatever you've been smoking, I'd love to have some too. No way we're challenging for the title, unfortunately. Any discussion on it is a recipe for heartbreak. Sort of an attitude is that?
It's negative.
Negativity.
Listen, if I'm optimistic, then everybody
if you're
else
what?
If I'm optimistic.
I can't even say it. If I'm optimistic.
It's a word I don't say that often.
Yeah, listen, we're on the bus called Delusion. Yeah. Get on board. Ed says, I'd rather finish 4th in the group than go back to the Europa League. Yeah, I get that. Daniel Carey says, fly like an eagle, more like play like a dead possum. Or play dead like a possum, sorry.
The thing is with that, and I agree, that we've been playing football that I can't identify what strategy it is. It looks like 11 people who don't seem to have the same
You met this morning?
Yeah. Have you seen that bit from the Oasis documentary, Supersonic, where they all play Whiskey A Go-Go? And they think that they've bought a load of cocaine. And what it actually is angel dust. And they've been up for like 3 days on this angel dust, roadie included. I don't know if anyone's been in a band, but they put the set list down in front, and this roadie just basically just off the top of his head started writing all these different set lists. Put one in front of Liam, one in front of Noel, Bonehead, blah, blah, blah. They start the gig, and they're all playing a different song.
Yeah.
So that's what United are playing at the moment, and still getting like scraping results, against the mighty Brentford and Sheffield United.
I'm going to give you a list. Reasons why we're going to be all right. Yeah.
We're going to be all. We're not going to get relegated, are we?
Why we'll beat City? Yeah.
Oh right, yeah.
Why we'll beat City and the title charge will take place then, right?
Clip this up.
He's going to get clips up and it's going to be the end of my career. Sergio Reguilon, a left back. We need a left back. He's coming back. Tyron Malacia as well is not far away. An actual left back in the left back position will be amazing, yeah? Having that one?
That's it? Is it a list or is it just one?
Kobe Mainu, yeah? I rate him.
Yeah, I think Kobe Mainoo could make a massive
I know what
difference.
you're saying, Jay. An 18-year-old's not going to carry us to the title. Yeah. Well, Ajax probably said that about Seedorf back in the day.
Edgar Davids.
Yeah. Do you know what I mean? Busby probably said it about George Best. And look what happened there. Trophies.
Rooney was 18, wasn't he, when he won his first league title?
Was it? Well, there you go then. Was it?
Was it?
No.
Was he not?
No.
How old was he?
Hang on a minute. We bought him when he was 18 in 2004.
I thought when he was 17.
All right, let's say for sake of argument, we bought him when he was
right.
17 in 2004. We won the title in 2007, so he would have been 20.
Yeah, well, a couple of numbers.
I think he was 18 when we bought him as well. But
whatever, man.
Either way, he was nearly 18.
He was 18 once.
He was 18 once and he won a title. That's all you need to know, yeah?
This is slippy ground, this. But I do agree with the Mainoo point.
Yeah, so there you go. There's that. Also, and people won't like this, but it's true. No one likes to admit it. Sometimes you have bad luck. You do. Luck in football is a thing and it don't last forever. And we have been unlucky this season. Yes, we've not played well as we should have done. Yes, we've had some performances that are quite literally woeful. But we've also had decisions and instances that could have gone either way that have gone against us.
Right, so you're clinging to luck. That will make.
That's one of the many reasons, not the only reason. But on another, I have watched that Alejandro Garnacho disallowed goal against Arsenal about 100 times, and I still can't tell for definite whether he's offside or not. That could have easily gone the other way. And we'd have won at the Emirates, and everyone would have been going, Eric Ten Hag's a genius. Sack Arteta, United are going to win 21. Yeah? So there's that element as well, right?
Right.
Yeah? So that's another thing. Also, there's players that are getting used to the Premier League, getting better, like Rasmus Højlund. Yeah, I know he's not scored yet, but he is a very, very good player.
You can tell it, yeah, you can see.
You can see it ain't going to be forever that he hasn't scored in the Premier League. He's going to start scoring, and I think when he does, he'll hit a bit of form.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Look in the Champions League, he's like, he had that goal against Bayern Munich, not exactly easy. He got one against Galatasaray, he had another one disallowed. He got another goal against Galatasaray, which was probably the pick of the bunch.
Yeah.
He just started flying as soon as it
got
went
disallowed
in.
one against Brighton as well.
Yeah, exactly. So I think, again, it kind of ties into the luck thing, but also this is a player who's new to the Premier League, he's just settling in, he's just finding his bearings, and the team are finding their bearings around him.
Yeah.
So I think that is going to be a big positive, and I think he's going to end up hitting the score sheet.
I know, to do it on Sunday as well would be nice.
Imagine that, like, he banged in the winner on the derby. Everyone's going to be like, Haaland who? It writes itself, doesn't it? That script. So there you go. Do you want more?
No, that's enough for me.
Yeah.
You had me at Region.
There you go, you see. So there's lots of reasons.
We'll get some points.
Get involved in the comments in the chat and let us know if you've drank the Kool-Aid like me and Scotty. Rox McPherson says we might get Martinez in back for the running. Lisandro Martinez, was our most important player last season, other than maybe Marcus last season.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. Losing him last season was a massive blow. I thought that was the end, really, of us having any chance of winning that FA Cup final, I felt.
Well, once he got... Yeah, I mean, the whole sort of league went downhill after that.
Yeah, it did, didn't it? I know you can say, well, Luke Shaw can do a job and and all the rest of it, but Martinez is so important to United. And the bad thing and the sad thing for me is we've finally got Andre Onana in, a player who can play out the back with his feet. Having Martinez in front of him would be perfect, and we've not seen the two of them together barely.
No.
I mean, people say, the beginning of the season, he wasn't fit. He's not been fit this season.
No, he's rushed back as well. And the thing is, Martinez, it goes beyond his ability to defend. He's a brilliant distributor of the ball as well for a centre-back. But it's the impact that his sort of tenacity has on the pitch. You know, I find it can be contagious when you got a player like him. It's like when Roy Keane used to go flying into play. People wouldn't always get the ball, but when you see someone behind you going in and having it, that can become contagious across the rest of the park. And at the moment, it's a lot of like sort of placid football.
Placid football, eh? That's
until Sunday or tomorrow.
Flaccid football.
Flaccid football.
Yeah, even worse. Danny Quinn says we had 16 points after 9 league matches last season. This season we had 15. Now we have a bunch of healthy players coming back. It's not over.
There we go.
Until it's really over. I love that.
There we go.
Roy Thompson says Martinez's passing and confidence lifts the team. That's exactly what you were just saying. Connor Sedgwick says, honestly, we joke about Varane coming eventually, but could you imagine if we actually had a proper planning and get him to pass the torch from Ferdinand? Yeah, I think he was always going to go to Madrid, to be honest with you. Connor Sedgwick says, if you could plug 2 people from a European Cup winning team, who would it be? I've changed my mind. Keno and Evra. So if you can have two people.
From United's,
I presume it's from United.
Okay.
From a European club.
Pointing to this one.
Yeah.
I
Keno's a good shout.
Yeah, Keno. We need someone in that midfield who can run with the ball. We're severely lacking that. I don't see anyone that's charging through that midfield and running with it.
No.
There's a lot of these like 1-2 passes, which is nice on the eye, but I just like some sort of the determination through the middle. I don't seem to be seeing that. So Roy Keane would definitely bring that.
Do you know one player? I don't know how my mind works sometimes. You know one player who sprung to mind when you said that?
Who?
Have a guess. You won't get it, but have a guess.
I'm going to say Ji-sung Park.
You're not a million miles away. He's a lot. He's better.
Ji-sung Park was well underrated.
No, I'm not saying.
I'd have him in that team.
Yeah. I think it's gone the other way with Ji-sung Park though.
You think there's been some sort of it's a word you love. I can't remember what it is off the top of my head.
What?
Retrospective.
People have gone too far OTT with how good he was. Or he was mint, right?
Yeah.
And I love Ji-sung Park. And John Shin, if you're watching, forgive me, because John Shin nearly choked on his dinner when he saw me saying this on a video. I think Ji-sung Park was a fantastic player for Manchester United, a fantastic serving, and we would not have got past Barcelona in that 2008 semi-final if it wasn't for him. Those performances against Arsenal at the Emirates as well were phenomenal. But I've seen people saying I've seen people make this argument, if you could have one player in this team now, who would it be? I'd have Ji-sung Park, or Ji-sung Park's probably our best ever player. He's not that level.
No, he was very Fred.
Yeah.
Probably he's better than Fred.
He didn't make the squad for the 2008 Champions League final. That's the sort of, you got to remember that. He was one of those players that would come in and always do a good job. And I think some people have gone OTT now and gone he's probably the greatest player we've ever had. Well, he ain't, but he's a very good player and he'd walk into this team, to be fair to the kid. What?
I'm waiting for you.
I'm sorry, you look shocked. Sorry. When I turned in, I thought I said something wrong. You look like you said that. I thought I just said something horrific.
That was my suspense. Well, you said Ji-sung Park wasn't great. So
sorry.
That was
the player that sprang to mind when you spoke about running with the ball was Henrik Mkhitaryan. I don't know.
You'd have him back in
the
team.
When you spoke about, you spoke about running with the ball from midfield, I just thought of Mkhitaryan. Remember when we were 4-0 FC for about 3 weeks?
Yes.
Under Jose.
Great days. I wish they were back. But running with the ball.
Yeah, he did it during that month.
We don't seem to be able to do it. There's can you think of a midfielder that's doing that, or a player that's doing that with the ball at the moment? Maybe Garnacho down the wings, but no one through the middle.
That's different, isn't it?
If you look at the likes of, Man City with Rodri, or Declan Rice coming running out from the back, I think we're struggling. That's what Mainu will probably bring back for us, I guess.
Yeah, maybe. We have players that sort of like to pick a pass, don't they? Rather than try and do that. I know what you mean.
I need some sort of, an alternative, don't you? I think.
I'd say another player that used to be able to do that, and another one who's not exactly going to be top of everyone's lists even of players you'd have in your team. Anderson could carry the ball,
Yeah.
He could. And he's a European Cup winner, Champions League winner.
Of course.
I'd put him in.
Yeah. One of the best songs of all time, which we'll repeat on here, but yeah.
You can never have enough black lace in the in your chance.
Anyone from the 99? Well, you said Keane.
Yeah, Keane. I feel, do you know what? I feel Stam,
Yeah.
I don't know, Cole as well.
I'd have a goal scorer.
I know. Yeah.
It'd be good, actually, in this team, would be Teddy Sheringham. So to play alongside a Højlund or a Rashford to knock it down. Because I don't think Teddy got half the credit he deserved for sort of his maestro play.
Yeah.
He was very, the way he sort of conducted the play around him and stuff.
I used to work with a guy, right? And he used to always say, no Teddy, no treble. Yeah. Who's the player you want in the FA Cup final? Who's the player you want in the Champions League final? Teddy Sheringham. Yeah. That's what he used to always
Have you seen him? Man takes care of himself.
He looks good, doesn't he? Yeah, I've seen him doing one of them events. I weren't there, but I've seen footage of it. He looks well considering he's about what? He's getting on a bit now.
Yeah, he's 55.
He was playing till he's about 42 or something stupid, wasn't he?
Yeah, because he's at West Ham and Burnley. You'd sick it off, wouldn't you?
Just loved it, didn't he?
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Love banging in the goals and other things as well. Ross McPherson says, Bex, I reckon we would actually score from a corner for once. Interesting.
No.
Corners do made in the United.
Just set pieces in general do.
Honestly, I hate all this nonsense as well when we try and do a short corner. Right, just forget that.
Get it in the box.
Yeah. We do these like little intricate corners, and then the ball doesn't end up in the box. We end up losing possession.
You know what I loved about the goal that won us the game on Saturday? It was just like a hoof from like, nothing was built towards that move.
Yeah.
I think we overthink things too much.
Yeah.
All this intricate passing. Just go old school, man. Just have a twat from fucking 18 yards out.
Yeah, man. Do you know what I mean? Just give it to Delo. That should be the new tactic.
Yeah.
Give it Delo and let him do his thing.
I actually was going to text you after he scored that, because I think we did this or we were on a live, and I was saying, well, Delo's got more goals in his locker than Wan-Bissaka.
Yeah.
And you said, yeah, put it by 2. He's got 3 now.
That's pretty. Listen, I love Diogo Delo. He's a good lad, a good bloke.
He does seem to enjoy United.
He does enjoy United. I know people hate when you say this as well, but he's one of them that gets it. He's got like, I've seen him at the ground where the way he is with fans and that. Seems like a decent geezer. He spoke to us a couple of times as well. He's a friendly guy, and he's put in some shifts this season. Listen, we put this on Twitter on Paddock earlier, and a few people were disagreeing or questioning it or whatever, but I think he deserves credit this season.
Yeah.
Because, like, I'm not saying he's been perfect, he hasn't, but compared to a lot of his teammates, he's been very, very good. Played every game, I think, since Wolves. Like, who else has done that?
And he's played out of position as well.
Exactly. Left back and right back. He's played in both positions. He's always puts a shift in, and then obviously he's popped up with the winner in a game that we needed to win. So I just think maybe he deserves a little bit of credit. Keith Kelly says, evening lads, you must be sick of that Studio J. I love it. It's my second home. Santa Notch says, don't care. Going to include 1991 Cup Winners' Cup and say Robbo. Fair enough. I'm not going to argue with that, Notch. You can have him in.
George Best. He won the European Cup.
Okay, George Best. There you go. Talk about characters. You need a bit of character in your team. There's one for you. Flying Like an Eagle says, Bruno can't cross his legs. Are we allowed to have honest conversations about Bruno yet? Go on then, I'm interested.
Do you think he is good? Do you think he's a good player?
I love the fact you've worded it like we're both 5 years old. Do you think he's good? I love him. I think he's good. Do you think he's good?
Do you think he's good?
I think he's as good as this Sherbet dip.
Do you, when he plays out on the wing?
You're scared to say what's on your mind. I've known you for 20 odd years, right? You've never been fearful saying what's on your mind. It's got you in enough trouble. It's amazing you're still allowed on the radio.
I think that he's overrated.
There you go. Here we go.
I think he's a decent player. He's very well equipped, and his numbers are great. But I think a lot of it might be stat padding, and I just think that, especially this season, I just think there's been a lot wanting from him. When he goes missing a lot, man. I
understand where you're coming from. I like Bruno Fernandes.
I like him,
but I think he isn't having a great season. I think his performances have been erratic. I do agree with that. And I think he's one of those where when he's having a bad game, he struggles to turn it around.
Yeah, like if it's not happened from the first whistle, then
he can be one of those players that and it's not just if he's having a bad game, it's if United are having a bad game. He can go worse because he tries to do everything on his own. He'll shoot from 40 yards. He'll try a 90-yard pass when he doesn't need to be doing that. And I noticed, me and Ronnie were on the watch along on the weekend, and Ronnie pointed it out, like there was a few times when our moves broke down because of Bruno being sloppy with his passes. Yeah. I still love the guy. I still think he's good, in answer to your question, and I do think he'll turn it around. But I don't think he's having a good season.
He's certainly not having a good season. I think he lacks composure, Bruno. In the way that other players that play a similar position to him as sort of like a playmaker, and I think that's why a lot of the passes go wasteful, because he hasn't got that sort of precision in him.
Yeah.
You know, it's like, remember Andy Cole used to get that criticism at him.
Five chances
to score. Bruno's very similar with that part.
Can I just say one thing on that Andy Cole?
No, I'm not saying that wasn't mine. I was just
saying. No, I know you weren't. Glenn Hoddle said it, didn't he? And it's obviously nonsense. And it's provable nonsense. Because Andy Cole scored 44 goals in one season.
Yeah.
So you're telling me if he took all his chances, I know you're not saying it, but Glenn Hoddle or whoever's telling us that if he took all his chances, he would have scored 250 goals, whatever it is, in a season.
So yeah,
it's just obviously nonsense. And Andy Cole on this podcast told us that. We were talking to him, and I said that to him. I said, like, he's like, exactly.
Yeah.
He said, like, do you know what I mean? And also, the weird thing is a lot of strikers miss a lot of chances anyway. It's not like that bad if you're missing chances. It's just that stat was made up nonsense from Glenn Hoddle.
But you know what I mean? That sort of framework, it'll take 5 passes to get one good one out of him. And I don't think, because we're we don't play possession-based football, and because it takes that many attempts for him to get like a decent cross into the box or a through ball, we lose it too easily.
Do you think he's suffering though from sort of the absolute merry-go-round he's been at since he got at Old Trafford? And I'll qualify what I'm talking about. When he came in under Ollie, at times he was like a 10, at times he was a false 9. So many of those games where he was banging in goals, he was the furthest forward on the pitch. There was times when it was like, it was all about him. He took the penalties, he took the free kicks, he was our goal scorer. It was all like, Bruno, you do everything. Then, obviously, things started to change. He was asked to change his role a little bit. We weren't always counter-attacking. Remember, Ollie tried to progress the team a little bit, make us a little bit, play a bit further up the pitch. He had to adapt to that. Then you get Ralph Rangnick coming in, and that was just one of the most shambolic periods in our history.
Yep.
Okay, I loved him in a press conference, but I didn't like watching his football. He had to adapt then. Then he's in this thing now with Erik ten Hag where he'll start the game deep, then he'll be moved into almost a 10, then he'll be moved on to the right hand side.
Yeah.
So he is, I'm not just making excuses for the kid, because I get your point, I do agree. He's for a player, I think he's good. Like I said, a player of his ability, he should be playing better than he is right now. But I do feel for him, because he's been moved from pillar to post. He's had all these different roles to fulfill in the team. He gets moved during the game. If we ever change anything during the game, it's move him about.
I completely get your point, right? And I'll agree with it to an extent. That it's maybe unfair that he was seen as the pivotal player that everyone was built around under Solskjaer. And he did come in and he was amazing. He scored loads of goals. I know some people will come back and say that a lot were penalties, but he did make an impact.
Not as many as people make out.
No, but I like he did make an impact when he first signed. And I think at the time, though, one of the reasons why he made such an impact is because he was playing with a lot of dross around him. You'd expect now that he's in a team when it's not as injury-ridden as it is at the moment, that he'd improve. Now, your point is that he's moving around the park a lot, and it's a detriment.
It's one of the points,
might be detriment to his ability. Other players did that. Wayne Rooney got shifted all around, and I never once seen Wayne Rooney not put a shift in when he was asked to play a different position that isn't usually his. And that's the other thing. If he doesn't like it, you still got to put a shift in.
Yeah, I get your point. But I will say this as well. Rooney was getting a lot of pelters towards the end of his time at United. When I say towards the end, I'm not saying Wayne Rooney's arguably he's in contention for being United's greatest ever player. Certainly our greatest ever goal scorer. So Wayne Rooney's like a phenomenon. He's just one of those. He's probably one of the greatest players.
But he never had a face in him like sometimes when. But Fernandes can't hide his
similarities, with Rooney and Bruno in that respect. I think Rooney could do that thing of when things were going wrong. He could try to do too much sometimes, especially post Fergie as well. Like when
he felt like he had the weight on his the weight of the
like
team.
You'd see him sometimes. You could be like, just chill out, man. You don't need to.
But that's the set. Yeah, I agree with you that Bruno, similar in the sense that he feels like the responsibility is on his shoulders to do something, and that's what Rooney was like in the late years. I mean, had David Moyes managing, for God's sake, he might as well have gone into the bloody.
But I agree with that, and I also think that again, it's a little bit one of the reasons, not the only reason, but one of the reasons I feel a little bit sorry for Bruno is like the managers he's had. How many stable, good managers has he had at United? How many managers has he got where you go, I think this is probably the first one where you go, this is a guy who's capable of delivering something with us.
And he's not playing the best football underneath him.
Yeah, this is now the time he's got to settle down. I'm just looking at his numbers over the last few seasons. Sorry, just going back, because I think part of the problem for Bruno as well is when he arrived, his numbers were so ridiculous. Like his first full season, it was 18 goals and 11 assists, and obviously in 37 games, that's phenomenal, isn't it? Let's have it right for a midfielder. His first sort of was that his first season? Sorry, I know this is awful to watch when I'm just sort of trying to work this out. I think his first season is basically, it was a goal involvement every game. The first sort of when he came in January for United, and then it tailed off a little bit, but it was not that dissimilar. And then the last couple of seasons, obviously, it's not been anywhere near that. And I think that sometimes goes against him because he was riding so high with his numbers in the first couple of seasons. People expect to continue that, and he hasn't. But I do get your point, because like I say, I don't think he's playing as well as he should do, and certainly not as consistently as he should do. And I think you look at this season, so far, he's got 2 goals and 2 assists, which compared to his teammates isn't that bad really. But you want a bit more from him, to be honest with you. And it's not just the goals or assists either. It's some of the performances haven't been great.
No, not at all.
Do you know what I mean? I think it's misleading as well just to look at numbers, because that assist against Sheffield United, that was all McTominay really, wasn't it?
Yeah,
if we're being honest, do you know what I mean? Like, I'm not knocking Bruno for getting an assist, but that was McTominay's who dealt with that chest high pass and then finished it well. I just feel like with Bruno, I feel we need him. I think we just he's one of those players that he plays almost every minute of every game. He is the captain. Yes, he's got very inconsistent, but
he has the capability, doesn't he?
Yeah, I would stick with him. I mean, I don't sort of meandering towards.
Yeah, I don't think he'd be coming with anyone to replace him with in the team. He certainly has the capabilities of the pass or the goals that he scores. It's just, like I said, the consistency of it. And I wonder if a lot of it is down to the sort of positional play and where Ten Hag sees him as his best position at Manchester United.
Yeah. Well, if you use Ten Hag, right, and you've got Bruno.
Yeah.
Because you say, I think, like I said, I don't want to keep agreeing with you, but you make a point about it.
You don't want to keep agreeing with me?
No, I hate that. I think we do our best work when we don't get on. All this hands across the ocean, agreeing with each other. You can leave the sloppy Joes lot to do that.
We said we're going to do an optimistic podcast, and I'm glad that you're staying with the theme.
Yeah, right. But if you're Eric Ten Hag, right, you're picking that team, and you're playing Bruno, I take it, yeah? Yeah, where are you playing him? What's your position, and what are you saying to him?
My position for Bruno, I'd play him just in front of the defence. I like playing him like as a sweeper that he played it last season as a quarterback, and have someone with a little bit more sort of dynamism in the number 10 position behind Højlund. I like that quarterback role that he plays.
Okay. So you'd have him and Casemiro.
Yeah, and they'd probably play Mount behind the strikers, but I'm not too convinced with him at the moment because I think he's still trying to find his feet. That's
another reason why we're going to win the league.
What, Mason Mount?
Like, I didn't really want him, but now I'm convinced.
Yeah.
From them 40 minutes against Galatasaray, he's the one. Yeah. He's going to come good.
He runs around a lot, doesn't he?
He does. Listen, Chelsea fans were fuming when he came to us. What's that tell you?
That's no justification for spending 60 million just to get pisses off Chelsea fans.
Of course it is, man. I'd spend double that just to wind them up. Seriously, that's the best investment we've done post-Fergie. Someone said, I've lost the chat. Someone asked me, I didn't give my 2 picks. Sorry, Keno and Stam will be my picks. I know, actually, because we don't score goals, do we?
No, we don't score goals. Go Cole.
All right, Keno and Cole. Ed says Rooney's face was just his regular face. UK Strain says, I think Antony needs to step up. Do you worry about Antony? I do,
I worry about Man United with Antony.
Because we see signs from Antony, right? There's bits and you say, okay, yeah, that's good and he can do that bit. But this is a guy that the manager spent a lot of money on. He's his guy. He's his guy as well. With everyone else, you've got an excuse.
Yeah.
You inherited Marcus, you inherited Bruno, you inherited Jadon Sancho. You didn't buy these people.
No.
They were, they were here when you got to the club. He targeted Antony. He knew him from his previous club. He wanted him, and he got him. Yeah, and we got him for up to 100 million euros. I think that's with add-ons. So let's not just say it's not that, but it's a lot of money.
Yeah.
And if you talk about Bruno being inconsistent, then this kid's wrote a book on it.
Yes. Well, I don't think he's that inconsistent. I think he's
consistently poor.
Yeah, I think so. Okay. I think the red herrings tend to be the performances that every blue moon that he pulls out. I tried to sit on the fence a little bit with my criticism of Bruno, and we are trying to be optimistic that we are going to win the title and we are going to beat City. But I can't sit on my hands when I say this. I think Antony is shit. I think he's well overrated. I think for a winger, he's better at going backwards than he is forwards. Don't think he's very good at crossing the ball. He's got 1 foot. Tony Valencia was better at doing what Antony was.
Okay.
Do you not think?
I just wish you wouldn't sit on the fence all the time, man. Just give us your real opinion on it.
I just don't. I don't get it. And last year when what's his name, Gabi Bonglahor was doing all that criticism on Talksport, which was completely, there was no justification for it because it was his first season. But now having like all the games under the belt and actually watch Man United up close and personal, I can come to the conclusion that I think he is poo, and I don't think he's worth the money at all.
Right. What worries me, other than the fact that we might end up agreeing with Gabi and Bonlahor, or you might end up agreeing with Gabi and Bonlahor, is yes, last season you make a point because I'm just looking at it, this sort of stuck in my mind.
It was before the World Cup, he was decent, and after the World Cup.
Well, from October till April in the Premier League, I know he scored against Barca and he did bits in the Cups. From October till April in the Premier League, he didn't get a goal and an assist last season. Now that is...
For a winger.
You can't really defend that, man. I get he does track back and he helps out and he does other things, but you got to be doing better. And it's not, I said earlier, it's not just about goals and assists, and it's not, but that is a part of the game. So you have to do better than basically not doing any of that for 6 months. And
compare that to a player like Garnacho. And the thing is, with that duration of time as well, Antony was playing week in, week out, whereas Garnacho does more having little cameos off the bench and looks like a winger.
And also this season as well in the Premier League, Antony hasn't got a goal or an assist.
No,
I know he's had 3 games off because of what he's been. Well, I'm not gonna say what he's been going through, what's been happening, because we don't know what's going to happen with that. But we know why he's not been playing.
I mean, that aside,
he's still played 5 games.
He's just very predictable. And if you're a manager and you know Antony's playing, you're just telling your defender just keep him on his weaker foot all game.
Half the time he can keep on his left foot and he just hits it wide. This season is going to be his last season if he doesn't step up. I think that whilst you can see what he's about and what he does, and I get why he's in the team, he has to start producing more for me.
Yeah. Because
everyone's pointing at Marcus Rashford, right, and going, Marcus Rashford's having a stinker, Marcus Rashford this, Marcus Rashford that. And I understand it because Marcus Rashford hasn't been great this season. He's got 1 Premier League goal and I think he's got 1 Premier League assist and maybe 2 assists in all competitions, something like that. So those numbers aren't great. But on the other side of the pitch, you've got someone who's doing, like, in terms of what he's producing, nothing.
Yeah.
So we need more. We need people to step up. You know, you talk about Bruno. Bruno is inconsistent, but he at least can contribute goals and assists. And I think with Antony, we just don't see enough of that. I get it. It helps out defensively. And that can be important, massively, especially against some of the bigger teams. And I think he might actually be a very important player for us against City. Because I think against City, when you are going to you're going to have to help out your fullbacks. He can be that guy, but I just need to see more from him. And a big bugbear of mine with Antony is he doesn't hit the target enough.
There's not enough evidence when you're talking about players like Rashford and Bruno. I think a lot of the disappointment comes is because they've hit such good seasons. Obviously Rashford last season, and we've seen what Bruno's done in the past with his debut season at United. There's not been enough evidence to sort of warrant any belief that Antony is going to be worth the money he is or worth persevering with in that position. Time will tell. Obviously, like I said, at the end of the season this year, it may be his last if he doesn't follow through. I think it's important to talk on Marcus Rashford because I can see some people talking about the comments there why you're always picking on Bruno and we're talking about Antony and stuff like that.
A lot of people agreeing with you about Antony, by the way.
Well, yeah, good, the sensible people. Right, but I think about on the Rashford situation, they might be pissed off now, is that everyone's really critical of Marcus Rashford this season. But I don't think too many people are taking into consideration that Marcus Rashford last season was playing an out-and-out striker for Manchester United. They had the weight of the team on him to be the goal scorer. This year, he's been moved out to left, which I personally think is his best position, but it's like moving a job role. He's going out left to do something different. So he's sort of not learning it again, or where does he actually fit into this sort of system? And I think because of what he achieved last year, you want to be successful. You want to celebrate the Carabao Cup win or finishing top 4. We owe it down to that man, and there's no two ways about it. And he's earned the credit and the time to have a few bad games. We're talking about Rooney before. When Rooney used to go away injured, he used to take about 8 games to get back into his stride. Then it used to take a while. So I think, you know, he's earned his credit and he's earned the respect of Manchester United fans to sort of have a little bit of grace. You know, if it continues, then to take him out. But I don't think he deserves the criticism he's getting. Antony, on the other hand, there has been no evidence for that.
It makes me laugh because I had this argument a few weeks ago on social. Because I did a video sticking.
You don't argue on social.
I know, now and again I do, just to sort of remind myself what it's like to argue with people. Because I'm so not used to it. But I said, like, you know, I stuck up for Marcus. And then people were proper going on at me and they were saying, you know, we need to sell him and buy someone else. I think, okay, all right. You sell Marcus Rashford, yeah. We'll buy another left winger who's better, yeah, who's going to produce goals and assists. How's that working out for you on the right-hand side?
Yeah.
We've spent £200 million on right wingers, right, in the last few years. In Facundo Palestre, Jadon Sancho and Antony. How are they getting on? Now, I like Palestre. He's a good young player. I don't think he's good enough, though, I'll be honest with you, but we'll wait and see. Jadon Sancho has been a complete disaster as a signing for Manchester United, and you've just summed up Antony. So what makes you think we're going to go out and sell Marcus and buy someone on the left who's going to bang in loads of goals? I don't get it. I don't know where that's coming from. Well, because we've bought 3 wingers on the right. I know Sancho can play in different positions, but he mainly plays on the right for United. He's done now. Now he's not even playing for us. He's not even training with us. He's training with the Rezzies. Antony, you've spoke about, and Pellistri, to be fair, he's only a kid, but my point is, there's no guarantee. United could sell Marcus Rashford and bring in a left winger who does a lot less than Marcus. I think that would be a massive gamble you don't want to be taking personally.
What other team, or what other fan base, the following season, how many did he bag last season? 30 plus, was it?
30 goals in all
competitions. The following season, 9 games in, that fan base want to get rid of him.
I just feel with Marcus, I feel like he's always got a lot of hatred. Like, I feel like there's something there.
But the thing is, I think it brings it on himself, not through like his personality, but because he's, we've seen how prolific he was last season. So the expectation's high for him. Do you know what I mean? So when he is out of sorts, and because it's what makes it even worse, what amplifies his goal drought, is that the rest of the team aren't chipping in with goals and we're not playing well. So therefore, it's all Marcus Rashford's fault. And I'm not defending his performances because I think he's been lacklustre, and there's been a couple of games where I thought he's at fault for us conceding because he couldn't be arsed tracking back. But again, when I was talking about players like Martinez, when you see him having that energy, that can be sort of contagious throughout. And there just needs to be a lot more players around them taking more accountability and ownership. I don't think anyone's been brilliant. In fact, if we're talking about who's been great, it's been the sort of Reguilons who we've signed from Spurs on loan. It's been Maguire and McTominay who we're selling in the summer. And it is Diogo Dalot who might be our second best right back. They're our best players this season. It's absurd. So there's room for improvement, is what I'm saying.
There you go. We kept up the positivity to a certain degree, but we sprinkled a little bit of realism in there just at the end. Variety. That's what you get on this podcast. Make sure if you're not doing already, you hit like, share, and subscribe. We'll be back, I think, later on this week with more content as well. If you've not done so as well, we do have a Patreon. Let me just stick a link in there for the Patreon people, for people to see.
Have a score prediction for tomorrow.
For our Patreon. I'll just put a link to the Patreon in the chat. Score prediction for tomorrow. I think I went with 4-1 on the preview. Yeah. So I'll go with 2-0 on this one, and then I'll clip up the one that's right. So my score prediction for United versus Copenhagen is 2-0.
Okay, I've gone for 3-0.
To United.
Either. Right, I've been Scotty. That's been Motty. Subscribe, like, and we'll see you later.
Either.